What's up, everyone? Matt Monaco here, also known as Mono Trader. Going to do a little more just in-depth video for you guys, shooting for like 15, 20 minutes here. A 2020 year in review. So 2020, I said it a couple times, it was my glow up year. All traders, eventually there's going to be an aha moment, series of aha moments. Preparation is going to be opportunity. And that's what happened for me in 2020. I don't think it's any secret the markets in 2020 have been insane. People have made money who don't have skills in trading. But for me, I strongly do believe it was preparation, meeting opportunity, leading to me to have a 650,000-ish year. Still a couple days left as I'm filming this. It is the 29th. But yeah, it's been a great year for me. So I want to break down what's working, what worked for me, what I'm looking forward going to 2021, and just some resources. So I'm going to share my screen here and go over some things that I did in 2020, good resources, and just we're reflecting on the year as a whole. So started out, this was actually December 23rd, 2019. That's pretty crazy. Over a year ago, went on the Be the Story podcast. Formerly, I did a podcast with my friend Bryce Toohey, which actually, now that I bring it up, I should go share his Twitter. His handle is E2E, this guy. So if you're not familiar with the 30-day bootcamp I did with Tim Sykes, I mentioned a person in this quote unquote dumbest person I know. He was my friend, former roommate, did the Beyond the PDD podcast with me, Bryce Toohey. As of today, he actually passed $100,000 in trading profits. Super amped for him. He's been working hard for a long time. And yeah, just proud of the guy. He had a really good day. I think like $1,000 day, which actually put him over $100,000 in total profits. All in 2020, last like 6 months, I think, actually. So, if the dumbest person I know can study, grind, work hard, and make it, I think there's a good shot for you if you're willing to put in the time, the hours, and just make it happen. So anyways, beyond the PDT, I did the podcast, really started focusing on my trading in 2019. And in 2019, started finding some consistency. December 2019, if I recall correctly, was like a $6,000 or $7,000 month for me. Biggest profit month of like ever at that point in time, $6,000 or $7,000. Went on Be the Trader, talk about what I was trading then. I got a couple questions about this. Like at the time, small caps were really slow. 2019 was a slow year for small caps. So I focused a lot of my time on some larger mid cap plays. The patterns, there's always a trade out there, but the patterns in mid and large caps were slower, easier to do. You could put a stop on. I was still in school at this time, actually. Yeah, I had another whole semester of college left, just starting to find consistency. So I'd buy stocks that were trending upwards, put stops in, let them run. And that was working for me at the time, worked for me kind of going into 2020. And then small caps really picked up, noticed the opportunity, and quickly segued into small caps. Both OTCs, which are a unique market, very hot right now, difficult for newbies to trade just because executions can be tough. And if you're not using the right broker, you're trying to trade on maybe a web app or your phone, it can be difficult. So I use like E-Trade Pro, anything with a level 2 montage, and you can just get like direct market access, like executions. That's key with the OTC market. So moving on, 2020, actually April 2020, I did the 30-day boot camp with Tim Sykes. So going in January, I think I actually lost a couple $100 in January. February, I had a good month. March, I did it even better, 19,000. Come April, filmed this boot camp with Tim Sykes. I'll include a link below. 30 days, Tim and I sat down, recorded a video, and there's a workbook and a quiz involved. And from April on, like honestly, just the time I took with Sykes and all the years leading up to it, meeting the opportunity of 2020, I really started going exponential. So April, I finished like $30,000 month, which was crazy. Again, December, a full year ago, my best month was like 6,000 or 7,000. So come April, I had 30. May, I made 50,000, and then June, I had my best month in that series when the market was really hot, 93,000. Since then, I have actually November, I had my first 6-figure month. December is going to be over double that. We're looking at 200,000 or so. I've made 100,000, like 120,000 the past 2 weeks. The opportunities are just there. OTC market is hot, really focused, really just trying to play the best plays. So skipped over a little bit there, gave you a high level overview. Next thing I did, 2020, started Twist with some of my good friends, Jack Kellogg, who is murdering it this year. I think he's over like 1.6 million in total profits, like most of it coming in 2020. Awesome, really, an inspiration. And Kyle Williams too, other host. He's crushing it too. I think he's getting really close to the $1 million mark. And they're just really focused on their plays, their process. There's a ton of opportunity out there, but it's important to capitalize on the plays that you're familiar with, what you know, and yeah, just rinse and repeat. When the opportunity is there, just do it over and over again. So next, I had the opportunity to partner with Stocks to Trade. Small Cap Rockets is a room I'm doing with Tim Bowen, John Papa, and myself. There's 3 of us in there. I outline my watch list every morning, give some really detailed trading plans. This is actually the 29th. I had a really great play this morning on LKNCY, outlined it almost perfectly in the room. Bought in the 730s, sold into the $8 level. And if you want to pull up a chart, great play, totally outlined first green day, something I like to do all the time. And the members really killed it, got some good tweets. So that's Small Cap Rockets. Awesome room, really great, integrated totally into the Stocks to Trade platform. It's all in one. Yeah, I love it. There's not a better place to just get in the minds of successful traders. Bowen's killing it this year. John Papa's killing it this year. I'm having a great year. And, 2021, the opportunity might decrease, but it's important to be prepared as much as you can. So whenever the opportunity comes again, you're ready to take advantage of it. So we're going to look at my Profitly. Pretty funny. There is actually a couch ad. If you follow any Tim Sykes videos, he loves to talk about how he buy couches at the top of this Profitly. So well done, advertisers. But we're going to go to my wall, and we're just going to look at what 2020 has done so far. So viewing my profit chart here, I'm going to breeze through this. I've talked about this a couple times, but started in 2017, lost half my account. I had $2,000 account. As you can see, low there was down over $1,000. Half my account was gone. Spent the next 2-3 years studying, grinding, building my account up, trying to save money from freelance jobs. Finally got over PDT September 2019. Started finding consistency. I was over PDT, which was helpful. Changed my mindset on trading. Don't regret the time I had below the PDT. It really just teaches you good habits. It can be painful. So if you're out there under PDT, like, I sympathize. It's tough. Do whatever you can to get over it, especially if you think you're prepared, you've studied enough, because with great power comes great responsibility. Starting September 2019, that fall, the market started heating up, slowly warming up. And I think just, again, preparedness meets opportunity. That's basically my theme in 2020. Started seeing some profits here. And then we started going exponential, as I described. And the last couple of days, super exponential. This says 571. I'm about 2 or 3 weeks behind. So yeah, you can add about 100,000 to that. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, like, what kept me going in it, and I want to say this for anyone out there that's just struggling, maybe you're seeing all these people, killing it. There's always going to be another hot market. The market is very hot right now. It was very hot 2 or 3 years ago. It comes in cycles. So it's going to slow down eventually. Hopefully it doesn't for the better part of 2021. That would be really awesome, but it will. And just stay with it, because, this month I've been averaging, $6,000-$7,000 a day. A year ago, that was my best month, and now I'm averaging that a day. So the learning curve really goes exponential, especially when you get it. So stick with it. What I always tell myself when I'd have those $200-$300 losing days, which a year ago was a significant chunk of my account, I'd be like, look, one day I'm going to make 10 times this in a day. And I've done it several times, and it is possible. It's, the opportunity's got to be there, but if you're prepared and you stick with it for the long run, this is my 3rd year, 3.5 years, next June will be 4 years I've been in the market. It doesn't happen overnight. So stick with it. And And you know, you never know. Your profit curve could look like this if you're dedicated enough. All right, everyone, let's go into some of my plays. I want to show you how I look at the big picture, the overall, just basically the penny stock framework, if you're familiar with Sykes DVDs, and how I break it down from a daily chart, like big picture idea, into an intraday chart, and then how I go about day trading it. So we are going to show my desktop here. Let's look at stocks to trade. I think LKNCY is a great example. Also, depending when you're watching this, like it could set up for a possible great future example if it continues to hold. So some of my best trades this month came on LKNCY on the 17th, the 18th, and then I had a really good first green day on the 29th. So let's go and look just 5-year, 10-year chart. LKNCY, big picture story. If you're not familiar with it, Chinese company, squeezed up big pre-COVID, got crushed, sued by the SEC, was halted for a while, I think. Basically, they were a scam, right? So they're now delisted to the OTC market, and they gapped down big. There's some key levels. You can see just $7. Here's 1080. No surprise there, topped out at 1080 again. And there's this huge gap to fill, literally all the way up to $22 more or less, where it gapped down because the SEC sued them. So now going back, look at the last 2 months, LKNCY here, they settled with the SEC. That was what the PR was about on this day. So while I'm not necessarily a fundamental trader, if there is a fundamental reason that backs up my technical trade, it just gives me more conviction in the trade. So I know this is a huge first green day. Just looking at the last couple months, like it started trading just insane volume. It actually started breaking out towards the end of the day. I kind of bought in anticipation of the breakout because of the volume and the intraday pattern it was forming. So let me show you exactly what I mean by that. We're going to look at 15-minute here. And this was the day, the 17th. So if you look, it gapped up huge on this SEC news. Now, OTCs trade pre-market, but if you like, the volume is basically irrelevant. And it's just like not worth it usually to trade an OTC pre-market. You can't really with E-Trade, you need a broker like Interactive Brokers, they let you. But besides the point, it gapped up huge and then held all day. I kind of thought we'd have a morning spike here, so I took a little bit of loss on this dip, but then it continued to hold. And that is a huge thing I like to see in stocks that I'm trading, is a spike or big gap up, hold into the afternoon, and then we rip to new highs, especially when it forms such a tight consolidation. This is a 15-minute chart. If I go down to like a 1 minute and then zoom back to this day, you can really see how tight of a consolidation range this got in for several hours here. So really zoomed in now. You can see the low of this range is 522. The peak, or what I was watching, was more or less 527, 528. So it was in a 5 to 6 cent range for 2 hours consolidating. And the reason I love OTCs compared more than NASDAQ, especially when the OTC market is hot like it is right now, is because you get these situations where the risk reward is just incredible. Like this was a 10 risk return trade, hands down, because when I entered this position, I was risking 5 or 6 cents a share, and it went on and I ended up locking it in for about $1 a share on this run from, I got in around 530 and sold up here into the 620s and underestimated a huge chunk of the move. It closed in the 740s. Just absolutely crazy. But yeah, like I was saying, like that's why OTCs are so powerful to grow a small account. It's a big reason my account grew so much. It's a big reason a lot of successful traders have grown their accounts so exponentially, is these just incredible risk reward situations. It's really important to focus on that. So continuing the journey of LKNCY, this is after hours pre-market. We gapped up again, as you can see, we're in the 750s and ran to 10, where we actually topped out in the 1055 area before pulling back. Going back to the daily, what I like to see is I like to trade that first day. If it runs for multiple days, that's great. But in my opinion, it gets tougher with each additional green day without any pullbacks. So we got some pullbacks here. I really thought this had the potential to break out, but it continued to pull back. So at that point, I shifted my focus from a possible breakout trade following the initial run to more of a first green day trade, because you can see we went down for basically 5 red days here. This is a green candle. Yes, it's technically green on the day, but there was just no strength. So once we started seeing this bottom the last 5 days, right around the 710 area, that's what I'd like to see. I'm not trying to guess a bottom. It's too hard. You don't know how far this is going to pull. Again, like it's still kind of a scammy company. So it could have just continued to die, and I'm not trying to catch that. But once we saw the final round of panic here, and then a triple bottom here in the 710, 715 area the day before, and then this morning, the day I traded it and alerted my trade in small cap for a first green day, we got in this tight consolidation range, which is just huge. I'm not looking to buy any consolidation, but when it's a key point on a daily chart and it forms a range like this and gives me a key risk level, that is huge, because as soon as I have a risk level, I'm confident and comfortable taking a trade. But without any risk level, like forget about it. Like, how are you going to be able to trade if you don't have, it doesn't make sense to risk $100 in just some arbitrary point on the chart. You need to find a point on the chart that's important to you, figure out how many shares you can buy and risk that level. And if you're uncomfortable in the trade, you're probably trading too big. I see this on Twitter all the time. People get scared out or they feel like they cut their losses too quickly. You need to make sure you're risking a significant level first. And secondly, you need to be okay with that risk. If you're only okay risking $5, it's fine. Commission-free trading, like you can risk $5 a share. Just hold true to your risk and let your thesis play out. This saw a huge run, continued up and failed a little bit today. Honestly, looking at the daily chart right now, it's possible this might actually break out still. I wouldn't want to buy it anytime soon, but if it holds up for a week or two into the first month, into January 2021, we could see a breakout. We know the 1050, 1060 is a big breakout level. Like I said, there's a huge gap. So definitely keeping on my radar. Could fill into oblivion. And if it dies, it dies. I don't really care. I'm going to move on. But that's LKNCY is the most recent example that comes to mind of just a full big picture play and how you can play stocks multiple times in a row for many days. And you just got to keep them on your watch list. You have to remember it's a former runner, keep it on your watch list, and just keep watching for plays. So my long bias trades, the ones that I'm most successful on, are usually like a significant, I'll call it a first green day with volume. This one gapped up nicely. Possible breakout. I would have loved to break out on this one, still watching, and then a first green day after a multi-day run, and then a multi-day fade. Just kind of high overview of the patterns I like to trade. Let's break down some more examples here. All right, everyone. So back in my apartment now, had some trading to do. Gonna go over a couple of my trades today because I think they are just really good examples of what I've been doing so far in 2020. So hopefully you can learn from them. And yeah, then we'll close out this video. So gonna share my screen again. So I sent out a tweet with these, my trade executions and the charts. Both LKNCY and BNGO. I did alert in the small cap rockets room. Papa John actually had a really good follow-up on BNGO towards the afternoon, and you can see that reflected in my trades. Triple five-figure day, meaning about 33,000 locked in on the 29th. Awesome day, just short of my best day ever, which I had last week. The last like 2-3 weeks of this market has been absolutely insane. It's not going to last. I don't know how long. Could end next week, could end in 6 months. I hope it's longer, but we never know. And if you have any questions, I said I'll answer them until tomorrow morning. Not sure what time you'll see this video. So just go on this video, comment, be like, hey, watch your video lesson. Here's a question. And I'll make sure to get to it just because you took the time to make it this far into the lesson. So yeah, just leave it and I'll get to any questions as quickly as I can. So let's take a look at BNGO. You can't see a daily here, but again, I like to focus on the big picture and then zoom into the intraday. $1 was a huge level. I mentioned it basically right at the open as soon as this hit my scanner. And that was my first trade on it. Just a quick little flip, bought it at $1 on that breakout and sold into the 107s, 109, 110 area. Just quick, like 10% trade, totally underestimated the move. As you can see, it went up to 130 in the morning. So got a little FOMO, tried to dip by it, and just really weak. It was very weird. Cut a quick loss here and just let it be. But what's important, I talked a little bit about this on DSGT.
like literally a couple minutes ago for you guys, but like 4 or 5 hours ago for me. It held the breakout. As you see, it dipped down to $1 and held it. So I started, came back on my afternoon scanner right around noon when it was back above VWAP, which is this line you can see here. So I started sizing into these lower highs. Bought a little bit risking this. This was 111, this low. And then as we had another higher low, bought some more. Thought I was buying breakout here, but that's okay. I just kept my risk at 115, added on the next higher low, moved my risk up again, and let it run. I sold 3/4, about 75% here into this 150s push. Again, 150 not only is a whole $0.50 mark, whole meaning 1, 2, 3, 4 and half, 150, 250, 350. So it was some resistance, but it was also resistance on the daily chart. So again, important to look at the big picture and then bring those levels into your intraday trading. So sold about 75%. My average was around 121, added at 130, and actually sold after hours. This chart doesn't show at 145. If you go look at this chart, it's at like 180 right now. Happens to the best of us. Can't nail every trade. Took the meat of the move. Won't be surprised if this gets up tomorrow. Michael Hudson's long this, so that kid, good for him. Hopefully it gaps up and we see some more good trades, and maybe even some sympathy plays if this keeps running. LKNCY I talked about, but I just wanted to show my executions on this one once we got uploaded, because the executions were really good. I started buying after this consolidation, and I just started selling rips. Sold a little bit 765, sold all into strength. And then this hard crack here, I didn't want to see it crack that hard. I guess in hindsight, it wasn't really that big of a deal because then we went on to the 820s, 830s. I think we even tested 850. So, I mean, underestimated this move again, but you'll hear Tim Sykes say it a million times, got to lock in those singles. If you take the meat of the move, like, don't be ashamed. You're not going to nail every top. You're not going to nail every bottom. And like, I never do. And I always look back. All you can do is just keep improving and keep working on it. Yeah. And that's what we had today to follow it up. If we go to my Twitter, I mean, it's just been absolutely crazy. The number of plays that we've had, absolutely bonkers day after day. We've had just crazy trading opportunities. I've been really focused in the OTC market. It will be my main focus going into 2021. The January effect, if you're not familiar with what that is, like, it's a new tax year. A lot of stocks are beaten down throughout December because of the way the tax code works. So in January, we see a lot of flyers mixed in with just the psychology of people, new year, new you sort of thing. People want to be day traders. They make it their goal. And just like the gym, they make it through about January, February before they're just wiped out and gone again and give up on their dreams because maybe it didn't work. It's no different. Stock market's not different than anything else. That's basically what we're going to see. So anticipating a couple hot months to start 2021. So really refine your focus and do what works for you. Like OTC breakouts have been working really well for me, but doesn't mean they work for you. Doesn't mean they work for everyone. Listed stocks are equally hot. Plenty of opportunity there, both long and short. But that's what we got. 2020 is almost over, for better or for worse. Gonna miss the 2020 market. The rest of 2020 was a little rough. All right, everyone, pulling a Sykes here. This is like my third time recording and third different location. We're in bed, but I thought it'd be important to add a part to this guide about a trade I took on the day that this was supposed to launch on ASTI. So I took this trade yesterday. I'm trying to pull it up here. I posted a good tweet about it. Let's share the screen. All right. So here's ASTI. It was coming on a hot streak and plays were running. I thought this one was going to run, but I think it's a good reminder and a good thing to end the video on for 2021. Don't swing for home runs. That's basically what happened to me today. Thankfully, I managed to trade very well, so that is a positive note, but I gave up a huge unrealized P&L. So ASTI here is a trade, as I said, kind of swung for the fences. Like, if it would have worked, it would have been great. But doing that, you need to lock in the singles along the way, and that's just not what I did. So ASTI was a breakout, and I started buying it. right out of the gate because I noticed it starting to gap up. And it was really close to the breakout level. And instead of what I should have been doing, which was taking profits up near a penny where it continued to stuff near high today, and then refocusing this afternoon, I kept adding. And like again, like it was all within the plan. And I managed it well. But at this point near the highs, I was up over like 19, $20,000 near high today. Didn't lock any of it in and just moved up my risk. And I thought this was going to hold the VWAP level right under a penny all day and continue higher. It didn't. And when it snapped, had no choice but to follow my plan and cut my loss. So that's what I did here. Um, Ended up losing like $50, I think, after commissions. But they soaked all my shares and I had a lot of shares. So I was like, all right, maybe it's not over. Bought some small size back here and just ended up dumping it. So I gave up a huge, like basically a break even trade because I was able to manage it well. And that was my plan the whole time. But it's just an important note to remember to lock in your singles. They add up faster than you think. You know, a bunch of $100 wins and now you got a couple $1,000. So it's important, like stick to your training plan, make sure your risk reward is still intact, but lock in the singles, cut your losses quickly. Good lesson going into 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you got any questions, hit me up. Profitly is the best place. Avoid all the scammers on Twitter. But thank you so much. And let's go into 2021 strong. Cheers, guys.